Hello there, Eddie Mercado here with BloodyElbow.com, and I'm about to speak with the number 14th ranked UFC middleweight, Dan Kelly, as he is headed to UFC Fight Night 110 on June 10th to take on the number 8 ranked Derek Brunson. So let's give Dan Kelly a call and find out what he's been up to since his last fight against Rashad Evans, find out his thoughts on constantly being an underdog and proving the bookies wrong, and maybe what he has in store for Derek Brunson.
Hello.
Mr. Daniel Kelly, how are you doing, sir?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for taking out the time. I believe you're out in Australia right now, correct?
Yep, that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, you're a day ahead of me, actually. So here's to tomorrow. But yeah, man, you're a 4-time Olympian in judo for Australia, and currently 6-1 in the UFC, ranked number 14 in the world. How are things?
Yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. Just training away. We've got a big fight in 4 weeks, and yeah, it's just business as usual.
Yeah. Now, when you retired from your judo career, what expectations did you really have when you set out on your mixed martial arts journey?
I'd always been interested, always been a fan of mixed martial arts, and thought I'd dip my toe, and then because of my personality, probably I couldn't help but get a little bit more involved. And then when I cut down to 84, because my first 3 fights or 2 fights were at heavyweight and light heavyweight. Then when I cut down to 84, I thought maybe we can give this a go. And then the Ultimate Fighter opportunity came up, and even though that didn't go that well, it was kind of a starting point for me to go a little bit further.
Yeah, like you said, you were on Tough Nations, didn't go the way you wanted, and afterwards you said you wanted to redeem yourself, and here you are ranked number 14 in the world. Do you feel redeemed?
I think I can go a little bit further. Now we're on a little bit of a roll. I mean, obviously the next match is really hard, but the last one gave a lot of confidence and faith that I can compete at the top level against very good guys. So this is just another big test coming up. Yeah,
and the odds makers, they always have you listed as an underdog, and you always prove them wrong. What do you think it is about that? Why do they keep, selling you short?
Well, I look really bad at the moment, but look at all the grey hair. I'm not exactly chiseled. I don't move with a lot of fluidity, so I'm sure they look at me and go, "Oh, he's not going to win. It's going to end at some point." It probably will at some point, but hopefully not just yet.
Yeah, I mean, you keep showing up big time. I gotta ask, does it kind of remove some of the pressure, knowing that no one's expecting you to win as far as the bettors are concerned?
No, not really, because I expect to win. So I'm the one who puts the most pressure on myself. So the external factors are nothing to me. It's the work and the sacrifices I put in, and the pressure I put on myself is what the most important, and that just gets worse and worse every fight. So yeah, I don't really mind about the odds or anything like that. I know I've made some people some good money. They did some statistic that if they had a bet on all 4 fights in some kind of multi or something like that, it worked out to being 100 to 1 or something like that in the last 4 wins I've had. So,
wow.
So it's good to be making some people some money, and I'm pretty sure I'll be underdog again against Derek Brunson. So yeah.
Do you bet on yourself at all and drop a little bit on Dan Kelly?
No, never. I think I'd curse myself if I did that. So we'll just leave the fans and the punters to do that.
Is gambling big in Australia, like it is kind of here and in the UK?
Yeah, it is. It is. Horse racing's big. All the sports betting's very big now. So yeah, there is a bit of gambling now. And now that people want to bet on everything. They bet on darts. They bet on everything. You can bet on anything. You can bet on the outcome of elections and things like that. So yeah, it's pretty big here as well.
Okay. Now, speaking of underdogs coming up huge, at UFC 193 in Melbourne, you fought on the card and it was headlined by Ronda Rousey against Holly Holm. Major upset. Considering both you and Rousey have a judo background, did you have any relationship with her or know her at all?
Yeah. She was traveling around the same time I was. I'm good friends with her coach, Justin. I knew her from before, and she actually trained at the gym here in the lead up to the fight. So yeah, I know her, and I'm still in contact with Justin. So Justin's Justin's an American coach now for judo for the USA. So
okay.
So yeah, so touch a little bit.
Yeah. What'd you think of seeing that? I mean, there's no way you enjoyed it. Just watching her fall, and then kind of her fans turned on her, and.
I was very sad because I knew her and I always wanted judoka to do well, and she's been a great champion, and also, I mean, she's done so much for the sport, for women in the sport as well, and yeah, it's sad. It's sad anytime you see a champion lose or anyone lose, and yeah, it was a shame how some of the fans turned, but that's the nature of the beast, I suppose.
You think she'll ever be back?
I'd hope so, but who knows? Who knows? She's got a lot of stuff going on. She's a smart person, lots of business opportunities and stuff. If she wants to come back, she will. Okay,
now, of course, you came into mixed martial arts with a strong grappling background, but as of late, you've really been mixing it up. You even landed a head kick on Antonio Carlos Jr., busted him up, hurt him real good. Can you kind of like speak to your striking journey and kind of assess where your skill set is right now?
I think it's always going to be awkward. I'm a little bit limited in what I can do body-wise because I was a little bit older and butchered my body in judo before coming across to striking, but I worked really hard on it. I was very happy with my last fight with my striking because, man, I won that fight on the feet. There was nothing on the ground. So we work really, really hard. I mean, I spend probably 60% of my time doing the striking, so it's more than half. It's coming along. It's coming along well. It's still a work in progress, put it that way.
Okay. Now, something you're really known for is really finishing strong. Like when it comes down the stretch, we saw that when you fought Chris Camozzi. Late in the third round, you really turned it on and you put it on him. What is it about your training regimen that kind of prepares you to get stronger as the fight progresses?
I get killed in training a lot. I mean, there's if you have sparring sessions or conditioning sessions, they're all until I'm dead. So I've already done all these horrible, painful things where you're exhausted and can't do anything. So, and I think it's just a little bit of stubbornness as well. I seem to finish better, especially the last 4 fights that I've won. I've won down the stretch kind of thing. So yeah, it's heavy training load, but it's also, I think it's a maturity thing and a mentality thing as well. Okay, yeah.
Your last fight, UFC 209, in Las Vegas, your first time to Vegas. What'd you think of Sin City?
Yeah, it was good. I'd competed in judo in Las Vegas years and years ago in the early 2000s, but it was my first time there for the UFC kind of thing, and yeah, it was cool. It was really, really cool, and yeah, it was a bucket list item to tick off fighting in Vegas on a pay-per-view. It was lucky that I got to fight a former champion, so yeah, it was a whole heap of bucket list items ticked off on that trip, and it was a successful raid too, so I'm really happy.
Yeah, you picked up the split decision victory over Rashad Evans, the former light heavyweight champion. You really threw your hands the bulk of the time. You caught him with some sneaky, savvy, like trips here and there, but you pretty much stood with them and put hands on them. What'd you think of your performance?
I was happy. Look, he was harder to take down and more agile and athletic than I thought. I mean, in one of the rounds, I think it was the second or third round, he threw a head kick and I caught it, and then had almost had a double and picked up, and he still squirmed his way out. Also in the third round, I had a judo throw perfectly set, and he still managed to squirm out of that. So he was really, really hard to take down, and that was not a surprise, but I was hoping I'd be able to put him on his back. And yeah, I think the structure and the strategy we had with taking that outside foot out all the time to make him a little bit unstable worked really, really well as well. And it gave me the opportunity to throw my cross a lot because he couldn't cut that way, and that made it hard for him to shoot. So yeah, all the plans came together really well, which is great when that happens.
Yeah. Now you stand southpaw. Are you left-handed? Is that why you stand southpaw?
Yeah, two things. I'm left-handed, and that's my normal stance for judo as well. So it's actually really lucky. I've got some people who are crossing over from judo into MMA now, and even if they're right-handed, they'll still be southpaws because that's how they've been standing doing judo their whole lives. So it was handy that I'm actually left-handed. That's my stance for judo. So it's all meshed together reasonably well.
Okay, cool. Now, after your fight with Evans, Joe Rogan asked you about your knee, and you said you had a ligament was loose and your meniscus split and it wiggles around. How is the knee holding up?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I look after it. I tape or wear a brace when I train, and it holds up just fine. And if I can wear tape and the neoprene sleeve, I've shown I can fight just fine as well. So it's just something you have to manage as you get older.
Okay, now with that Evans fight, you earned a top 10 opponent. You're facing the number 8 ranked Derek Brunson. June 10th in Auckland, New Zealand. Not too far from you, a lot closer than Vegas. What are your thoughts on the stylistic matchup?
It's going to be good. He's a southpaw as well, so it'll be southpaw to southpaw. He poses some similar issues that Rashad would pose. I think he'll probably hit harder than Rashad. And he's a good wrestler as well. So yeah, it's going to be, he's more dangerous striking, I think. I don't know if he'll be as dangerous wrestling wise, but yeah, it'll be a tough matchup. He's the number 8 guy in the world for a reason. I mean, we watched a lot of tape, and yeah, we see some things we can possibly do, but all the best laid plans go out the window real quickly once we start punching each other. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. He kind of has this berserker style. He kind of comes out and right out of the gate just tries to overwhelm people and just go all in. And we've seen in the past, if guys can kind of weather the storm, they can, take control in rounds 2 and 3. Have you done anything in particular to prepare for that kind of blitz that he's going to come at you with?
Absolutely. It's no secret. I mean, he won 4 in a row. And the longest one of those 4, went was about 2.5 minutes. So, well aware. In his last fight, he came out very tentative against Anderson after he did the berserker thing with Whittaker, and Whittaker weathered the storm and actually finished him in the first round. So, be interesting. I expect him to come out the same way he was before and try and get me out of there early. And if he doesn't, it's going to be a really long night for him because I get better as the fight goes on, and in the past he hasn't. So, but he's an awesome athlete, and we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I weather the storm. It's going to be a long night.
Were you surprised that he was a little tentative, so to speak, against Anderson Silva?
Well, no. Well, there's two things. It's Anderson Silva for one, and there's always going to be that aura around him. And 2, his A plan didn't work against Whittaker. So they're 2 things. And Anderson is very good at faking and moving, and it makes you second guess a little bit. So I think he'll come out and try and blast me out of the water. And that's what I expect. And if he doesn't, then I'm always in for a 3-round battle in the trenches. I don't mind. So
yeah, I mean,
either bother me.
Yeah, his plan A didn't work against Whittaker. Plan B didn't work against Anderson Silva. That kind of, I mean, who knows what Derek Brunson is going to show up, I suppose, at this point. But how's camp going? How's training camp and everything?
Yeah, good. It's I came because I got offered the match almost before I got home after the Rashad fight. So I had a couple of weeks of light training, but I've been training through the whole time. I'm relatively injury free, and yeah, it's been good to do back-to-back preparations. A bit draining mentally and emotionally. We got the family and the business, but yeah, everything's on track and everything's good.
Okay, now do you have a prediction for how you see this playing out?
I think I finish him in the second or third round. I think you'll get tired.
Strikes or submission?
It'll either be ground and pound or a submission.
I dig it. I definitely dig it. Well, what would be next for you? Of course, you would be breaking to the top 5, potential top 5 matchup, potential title run, maybe?
Look, I think I win this fight. I get into the top 10. I think there'll be about 3 or 4 guys who are around 5 to 8 who'd be good matches. I mean, there's Anderson Silva, there's Weidman, Gastelum will probably come back into the fold depending on how he goes against Weidman. Jacare's floating around at the top of that group now after he lost to Rob. So it's funny to even talk about that. I mean, leading into the Rashad fight, I was like, I'm trying to study what Nogueira did against Rashad. I'm going, hang on a second, this is ridiculous. I'm watching these guys as fans, and now I'm going, oh, maybe I can do it like this, maybe I can do it like that. So it's all still a little bit surreal, and it's enjoyable, and I take it very, very seriously. But I also, it's very cliche, but we'll get this one sorted first, and then I always want to fight people who are better or higher ranked than me.
Yeah, and the middleweight division, Michael Bisping is the champion. Not many people saw that coming. Recently, he was scheduled to fight GSP. Dana White pulled GSP from that. So who knows? Maybe Bisping fights Yoel Romero, possibly. But I mean, it leaves some holes for new talent to come up and kind of make a run for the title. Oh,
absolutely. Middleweight's weird because, with the exception of Rob, everyone else, or Rob and Gastelum when he pops back up, most of them are over 30, the guys. Like, Bisping's a year younger than me, Romero's my age, Brunson's 33, I think Rockhold's late 20s maybe. So there are a lot of older guys who are making a run still, so it's good.
Yeah, what do you think of GSP coming back? I've heard you say in the past that he was one of your heroes. Have you had a chance to meet him at all?
Yeah, I met him. He came to the house when we were in Canada, and he's a really cool, awesome guy, and massive fan. Massive. I'm probably the biggest fan. He's one of my favorite fighters ever. So yeah, for him to be back floating around is really, really cool. So,
would you ever want to match up against him, just like out of respect?
Of course. I mean, it's the old thing of when your idols become your rivals. That's a really good thing. I mean, there's him, there's Anderson Silva. I mean, after I got the opportunity to fight Rashad, who was a former champion, I mean, anyone would be awesome if I have time to train. It'd be really cool.
Now, do you have any plans on maybe calling someone out on the microphone afterwards, or are you just going to let the cards fall where they fall?
Yeah, I'm not great at the call-outs, but I'd have to say there'd be 3 or 4 guys, if I win this fight, who are just above me, who I definitely want to target for later in the year. I believe the UFC will come back over our side of the world in October, November, and that'd be good. That'd be a good fight for me. And yeah, if I win, I'd be close to main eventing a card by then, I'd reckon, as well. So that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Well, do you have any sponsors or people you want to give a shout out or thank you to?
Yeah, absolutely. MA1, Fight Life, Clean Cut Meals, Catherine Brown, who helps me out, Resilience Training Centre, my gym. Gee, you put me on the spot now. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. So MA1, Fight Life, yeah, Clean Cuts. Yeah, beautiful.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
At least you don't have to do it after the fight. I mean, you probably still will, but this might be a little bit easier at least somewhat.
Yeah, no, that's true. Actually, Fire Tonic as well, and then Old Man Strength on top of that as well.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Now, how can people follow you on your journey? What are your social media outlets, your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram?
Yep, so Twitter's Dan Kelly Judo. Instagram's Daniel Kelly Judo, and then my athlete page on Facebook, Daniel Kelly Athlete Page.
Awesome. Well, Daniel Kelly, thank you so much for taking out the time. Derek Brunson's in your crosshairs. UFC Fight Night 110 in Auckland, New Zealand, June 10th. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you very much for having me on, Eddie. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You have a good one.
Yes, you too. Thanks, mate.
Take care. So there you have it. The number 14th ranked UFC middleweight, Dan Kelly, headed to Auckland, New Zealand to face the number 8 ranked Derek Brunson. Check that out. UFC Fight Night 110 on June 10th. In the meantime, you can read me over at bloodyelbow.com. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheEddieMercado. If you like this interview, you can subscribe to my channel right here. Subscribe to Bloody Elbow's YouTube channel right here. Check out these interviews. Now go be a good person.